Good morning students. In the previous class we have seen the internal architecture of 8051 microcontroller and what are the important blocks available, how exactly it is going to get it function. So in this class we are going to see the internal architecture description. So first one is your internal RAM. RAM is nothing but your data memory. So it is used to store your data, that is the data to be processed will be stored in this internal RAM. So the RAM is of 128 bytes and it can be divided as 4 register banks. So when you see, so it is your data memory. So general purpose register, bit addressable area and register bank 3210. So we have 4 register banks. So among the, this is completely going to be your internal RAM which is used for storing your data. It is of 128 bytes. Here we have 4 register bank, that is bank 0, bank 1, bank 2, bank 3. Each bank is of 8 bit register. Next 16 bytes which are bit addressable area. So here we have 16 bytes. So all the 16 bytes are of bit addressable area and 80 bytes of general purpose RAM. So totally we have 128 bytes. General purpose register, bit addressable area and this register bank, 4 register banks. It is going to be your internal RAM memory and it is of 128 bytes. So each register bank is of 8 bits. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the 4 register bank 32 bit and it is of 16 bytes and this is going to be your 80 bytes. So totally 128 bytes of internal RAM. Next is your internal ROM which is called as your program memory. It is used to store program code and we have 4 IO ports, that is port 0, port 1, port 2, port 3 as discussed in the previous session. Port 0 and port 2 is used, port 0, port 1, port 2, port 3. All the 4 ports is used for IO purpose, but port 0 and port 2 is mainly meant for using as a address bus or data bus for port 0 and pure address bus for port 2, and port 3 has some special function actions, control signals, that is IO, interrupt control, serial control, timer control and read bar write signal. And it has got two 16-bit timer, timer 0 and timer 1. Timer 0 is of 16-bit and timer 1 is of 16-bit. Each timer can be divided into two 8-bit timer like timer 0 low and timer 0 high. Same way for timer 1 high and timer 1 low. We can make this timer either to work as a code counter or as a timing signal, to generate a timing signal. So it can operate both in timer mode as well as in counter mode. The timer can be used in timer mode when counting the internal clock pulse, and it can made to operate in counter mode when counting it in external clock pulse. Next, transmitting S buffer. So S buffer is nothing but serial buffer. Buffer is means nothing but your it's like a register which is used when you are doing serial communication. So when you are transmitting or receiving any data, that will be stored in S buffer register. It could be of full duplex transmitter by receiver. So there are different ways of transmitting the data. One is half transmitting of data and next one is your full duplex transmitting. So this full duplex transmitter will hold the bytes to be transmitted or received when serial communication is used. Next we have extra interrupts. Interrupts are of two types. One is your external interrupt and another one is your internal interrupt. External, we have 2 external interrupt and 3 internal interrupt. Next, control register. Control register TCON. TCON stands for timer control. T mode, timer mode. That is whether we need to operate the timer either in timer mode or counter mode. If we want to count the internal clock pulse, then we have to set the corresponding T mode to a value that operates in timer mode. If you wanted to count the external clock pulse, then we want to set this timer mode register to a value that made the microcontroller to work in counter mode. SCON is nothing but serial control. That is whatever data we are going to transfer it serially, that will be controlled based on the value that is stored inside this SCON register. Next is your PCON. PCON is nothing but program control and IP interrupt priority, and IE is nothing but interrupt enable. All are 8-bit register. So based on the values stored inside this TCON, TMOD, SCON, PCON, IP and IE, we can control the operation of the timer, serial ports and interrupts. Next is your port 0. As we discussed earlier, it has got 4 ports. Among these 4 ports, port 0 is meant mainly for address bus and data bus. That is, it has got multiplexed address bar data bus. Lower byte of address bus and data bus. So AD0 to AD7 is designated for port 0, and it is allowing to use as a bidirectional address bar data bus. When we use this address bar data bus, when we are going to connect this 8051 to our external memory, the port 0 will provide both address as well as data, because it has got a AD0 means A stands for address, D stands for data. It is a multiplexed address bar data bus. When you are going to connect this microcontroller external to an external memory, so it is provides both address as well as the data. So to segregate the address from the data bus, or to segregate the data from the address bus, we need to use a control pin called ALE. ALE stands for address / enable, and it indicates whether the port 0 is having a address bus or it is having a data bus. For example, when it is a address / enable, you consider it as consider this ALE as a active high signal. So when ALE is equal to 1, it means that your address latch is enabled. Port 0 address latch is enabled in the sense port 0 is going to hold the address signal, that is A0 to A7. Suppose when this address latch enable ALE is 0, then port 0 is going to have only the data. This is how you need to segregate the data or address from the multiplexed address bar data bus, that is AD0 to AD7. So therefore ALE plays a vital role in latching the address onto the address bus depending upon the signal available at ALE. So ALE equal to 1 because it is an active high signal. If it is equal to 1, then it is going to latch the address. If it is going to be low, then it is going to latch the data. So to demultiplex this address bar data bus, we can using one more IC called IC74LS373. Using this latch IC also, it is possible for us to latch our multiplexed address bar data bus. Here it is we have shown a pull-up resistor. So all the pull-up resistor is of values 10K. Suppose if your 8051 is when there is no external memory connection to port 0, so all this pins should be connected to 10K pull-up resistor. Why? Because this is due to your open drain, unlike port 1, port 2 and port 3. With the use of this pull-up resistor, port 0 can be used as a simple IO port, just like your other ports like port 1, port 2, port 3. Suppose if you are not using this 10K pull-up resistor, when you are not connecting this port 0 to any other external memory, then you cannot make it to work like a ordinary IO port. So to make this port 0 to work like a ordinary IO ports as like your port 1, port 2 and port 3, we need to connect one pull-up resistor of 10K to VCC as shown in this figure. So next is your port 1. So it is also 8 port. Suppose if I wanted to access port 0 pin, so port 0 is called 8-bit register, right? It can be accessed bitwise or bytewise. For example, if I wanted to save some data on port 0, I can write move P0, accumulator. Suppose in accumulator I am storing like move A, hash 56. So 56 will be stored in your accumulator, and the same can be moved to your port 0. So we can write it as move P0, accumulator. Even you can make a particular bit to get set. So set B P0.0. So you can access the ports bitwise or bytewise. So in any way you can access the port and you can utilize it according to your application. In the next class, I'll see about. So in this class we have seen the internal architecture description, Follow to this class will be Follow to this, we will be seeing the architecture description of port 1, port 2, port 3. For example, you can see over here port 1. So it is also having a 8 pins. Even this port can also be accessed bitwise or bytewise. Suppose if you wanted to access at bytewise, we can directly use it as move P1, accumulator. In case if I wanted to access this port 1 individually bitwise, we can use it as P1.1. P1.7, P1.2. Suppose if it is P1.1 means P1, that is port 1. The first to represent port 1. In that first bit you are going to access. Suppose if you write P1.3. So if you write P1.3, then in that you are going to access first port 1 third bit. Suppose here you consider this one P1.7. So in this you are going to access port 1 7th bit. So port 1 is dedicated only for I/O interfacing. Like port 0, it is not used for any multiplexed or address bar data bus. Port 1 is only used for I/O interfacing. Suppose if you wanted to use it as a I/O port, we need to give 0. Suppose if you wanted to use this particular port as an input port, you need to activate this port with logic 1. So it has been provided with the internal pull-up resistor. In your previous port 0, pull-up resistor is connected externally because this port 0 has not been connected with the internal pull-up resistor. Whereas in case of port 1, the pull-up resistor is connected internally, so no need to connect it external pull-up resistor as in case of your port 0. So when we want to utilize this as a output port, here we need to give 0. Suppose if you wanted to use as a input port, we need to write 1 in this particular port. Also you can access this port as a byte parameter, or even you can use it as a bit parameter. Next is your port 2. So port 2 is similar to port 0. What is port 0? Port 0 is meant for multiplexed address bar data bus as well as your I/O interfacing. Port 2 is also similar to port 0. Why? Because port 2 is meant for I/O interfacing as well as your address bar data bus. It accesses the higher 8 bits of address bus. It stands with A8 to A15. So when you are not connecting, when no memory is added to this port, you can use it as you can use this port 2 as a general I/O interfacing port. Next is your port 3. As we discussed earlier, port 3 has I/O interfacing. In addition with the I/O interfacing, it has got additional activities like receive data, transmit data, external interrupt 0, external interrupt 1, counter T0 and T1. T0 and T1 is nothing but timer 0 and timer 1. You can either make it to use as a counter mode or timer mode, then read signal and write signal. In addition with I/O interfacing, the port 3 can have an alternative function with respect to your serial communication, with respect to your input, timers, bus counters, read and write signal. So this is how you need to understand the concept of the port, because it is important when you are writing the programs. Thank you, students.